Good morning, precious saints. What a lovely morning. So we are December 27th, and yeah, I want to I want to talk a little bit again about the fact that we all have a mandate, we all have a purpose, we all have a plan. That God has called us to do specific things, and He's called us to fulfill the mandate, and and we're all going to be judged for those things, for the works that we've done. Now remember, I've said it before, we are not saved by works. Works is not what saves us. We know that from Ephesians. We see that in Ephesians 2 verses 8. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and not that of yourselves. It is a gift of God, not of works, lest any man can boast. You see, it's not works that saves us. It's not what we do that gets us salvation. It's not what we do that gets us into heaven. Certainly not. But we are going to be judged for the works that we do once we have been saved. See, salvation is not just a matter of saying, okay, well, yay, I've now got and I'm going to put this in colloquial terms, if I may, a free pass. It's not about that. I now have a free pass. I can now sit and just, wait for things to come. No. We have a call. We have a purpose. We have a plan. The purpose, God's purpose, we see from Genesis. We see that we all have the same purpose. All of us. We have the same purpose, to be fruitful and to multiply. That is to be fruitful in the knowledge of Christ and to multiply the knowledge of Christ, and to multiply in the sense of spiritual children, in the sense of bringing people to Christ, letting people know more about Him and coming to understand who He is. That is the purpose. We know that Jesus said He wants us all to go into all the nations of all the world and to make fishers of men. That is our purpose. That is the purpose that we all have. We have that purpose. God has then got specific plans for each and every one of us. Remember the puzzle. Each of us have got a specific plan. It works around our talents. It works around what God has done. Remember the story about the talents, where the master went and he said he was going away for business, and he gave one person 5 talents. The other person he gave 2 talents, and the other person he gave 1 talent. And when he came back, he asked the person with 5 talents, what have you done with the talents I've given you? And he said, well, master, I made another 5. In other words, he used the talents and the giftings that God had given him to increase, you see, to be fruitful and to multiply. And the guy with the 2 talents, same story. Yes, no, I've made 4. Wonderful. You've expanded, you've grown, you've worked. You see, they already had the job, they already had the talents, but they had to work for the talents. Then he comes to the guy with the 1 talent and he says to him, so what have you done with your talent? And he says, oh no, I know that you're a hard taskmaster, and that you work hard for what you have. So I hid yours away. I buried it in the ground. And the master was not happy with that. He was not happy with that. He called him lazy, and he called him a bad servant. And he took that 1 talent and he gave it to the guy with 10. You see, we are to work with the talents that God has given us. God has given us talents. Don't allow people, don't allow religion, don't allow a fear of man to stop you from using the talents that God has given you. Because God is going to judge us for those talents. He's going to judge us for the work that we've done since we've come to Christ. And if you don't believe me, follow me in the Word. Join me in Revelation 22 verse 12. Let's have a look at Revelation 22 verse 12. it says, and behold, I am coming quickly, that is Christ, and my reward is with me to give to everyone according to his work. You see, there's a reward that comes with Christ for the work that we've done. We understand that coming into the kingdom of God, we're going to be asked, what have you done with my son? Have you accepted him? And then we will be given access into the presence of God and into heaven, where we will be with him always. But our works are going to bring us rewards. Our works is what's going to. Well, I know this sounds silly, but I always say when you give your life to the Lord, you get a plot of land in heaven, and then what you do with your life once you've accepted Christ determines how big your house is going to be. I'm not saying that is certainly not scriptural, certainly not biblical, but that's kind of how I explain it. If we go to 1 Peter 1 verse 17, 1 Peter 1 verse 17, and if you call on the Father, who without partiality judges according to each one's work, conduct yourselves through the time of your stay here in fear. You see, apologies for that. I got a phone call that I had to answer. So I'm just going to try and carry on from where I left off. 1 Peter 1 verse 17. And if you call on the Father, who without partiality judges according to each one's work, conduct yourselves through the time of your stay here in fear. Without partiality. God is not a God of partiality. He doesn't say that one person's better than another. He judges all of our works equally. And it's not our works that get us to salvation. It's what we do with salvation. Once we have been saved, what are we doing with the gift? What are we doing with the talents that he's given us? What are we doing? What are we doing with those talents? Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're male or female. Doesn't matter whether you're Jew or Gentile. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. In Galatians we're told, it doesn't matter whether we Jew or Gentile, slave or free, male or female. We are all children of God, and he's given us all talents that he wants us all to use. So are we going to be found short? Are we going to be found one who has hidden our talents, who's dug them into the ground because we don't want to offend another person, or we don't want to maybe stand out in a crowd, or we don't want people to laugh at us? Are we going to love him more than we love the world? Are we going to love him more than we love what people think? I know I am. Let's have a look at 1 Corinthians 3 verses 12 through 15. Now, if anyone builds on this foundation, that's obviously the foundation of Christ, with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it. We know which day that is. That is the day of Christ, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet so as through fire. Remember, we go back to Revelation 22:12. It says that Christ himself will be bringing the reward with him to give to everyone according to the works. We're called to a mandate. We're called to do things. We're called to work those talents and to multiply those talents. That is what we're called to do. And don't allow anything or anyone to stop you from doing the good work that you've been called to do. No matter what that is. No matter what that is. Like I said, we all have the same purpose. We're all here to be fruitful and to multiply, to subdue the earth and to take dominion. That is the purpose for every single one of our lives. But God has a plan for each one of us that is separate, that is different. He is the potter, we are the clay. He has molded us. He's put certain things into our DNA. We're His workmanship that He has created for good works. He has put things together in us that only we can do to make that puzzle exquisite. I really want to encourage you to find your talent, to work your talent, because there is a reward for fulfilling your talent. There is a reward for multiplying your talent. There is a reward for being fruitful in the ways and the works of God. I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to get your reward. So everybody, I want you to have an awesome day, a blessed day. Find your talent, thank Abba for it, and work it. Work it. Get your reward. Work towards your reward. Run this race well. Run it well. Be blessed, and remember to always be a blessing. Much love.